Let's cut the filters and get brutally honest. Most men are stuck in a loop, repeating the same basic bedroom moves, wondering why the spark fades, and never realizing that the key to unforgettable intimacy isn't in doing more, it's in doing it right. These are 5 positions women crave, not because they're wild, but because they finally make her feel what she's been aching to feel for years. You won't hear this in locker rooms or from movies. This is the real truth, and it's long overdue. Most men don't realize that the position that builds the deepest physical and emotional intimacy is also the one they overlook the most. It's not wild, it's not acrobatic, it's not even physically demanding, but it's powerful because it's personal. What women truly crave is connection, and the right position doesn't just stimulate her body, it exposes her heart. That position, one where eye contact is unavoidable, where your faces are close enough that breath becomes communication, where your rhythm and her vulnerability align. It's not just physical, it's psychological. In this position, whether it's missionary with her legs wrapped around you or sitting face to face in a straddled embrace, eye contact becomes the axis. It opens a different kind of pleasure loop. Science tells us that sustained eye contact triggers oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It also activates mirror neurons in the brain, which literally make her feel what you feel. That's connection at the deepest level, and for many women, that's when sex becomes transcendent, not transactional. Most men avoid it, not because it doesn't work, but because it's too intimate. It demands presence. It demands you be fully there, emotionally, spiritually, physically. You can't fake it. You can't zone out. You have to lead with energy, breath, and attention. But when you do, her whole body responds. Her mind softens. Her desire turns from routine to reverent. This is when she feels safe to let go, to express, to feel everything without holding back. And that's the kind of experience she begs for, but rarely gets. This isn't about performance, it's about permission. The permission you give her to be completely seen. No masks, no roles, just truth. You don't need to say a word. Your eyes will speak for you. And when she feels that, her body won't forget it. This is where the emotional and physical worlds collide. And it's not aggressive, it's not wild, but it's powerful enough to change how she sees you and herself. Forever. There's a silent mistake most men make when it comes to sex, and it's not size, it's speed. Too fast, too soon, too focused on reaching a goal instead of creating a moment. But women don't crave speed. They crave synchronization, the kind of rhythm that doesn't overwhelm but invites, the kind that makes her feel like your bodies are in a conversation, not a race. That's where true pleasure lives. And the position that brings this to life, it's not just about angles. It's about control. Whether it's her on top with you guiding her pace or you behind her with hands anchored at her hips, the key to unlocking her deepest responses isn't force, it's flow. Neuroscience shows that a woman's arousal system is responsive, not automatic. That means she needs rhythm, pressure, and presence to stay activated. Fast movements may simulate pleasure, but they rarely build it. What actually triggers deeper responses is tempo that adjusts to her energy. Slow, deep, intentional thrusts that keep her nervous system in sync with yours. This kind of control shows her something powerful, that you're not performing, you're leading, you're listening. You're creating tension with every movement, not trying to release it too soon. And that restraint, that's what makes her crave you, because it's rare, because it shows her that her pleasure matters more than your ego, because it tells her you're not just in her body, you're in tune with it. This rhythm is a language. It says, I feel you, I'm with you, I'm not going anywhere. And when that message hits, her body stops resisting, her mind stops racing, her heart opens, and now you're not just another experience. You become a memory, a shift, A man who didn't just try to satisfy her, but who moved with her, held her, and respected the rhythm of her desire. So forget what you've been taught about going hard or lasting long. Learn to lead with sensitivity, not just strength, because the man who can stay with her rhythm, who can guide it with power and patience, is the man she won't forget. Not because of how fast he went, but because of how present he was in every slow, powerful second. There's a truth few men are willing to accept. Women don't fear dominance, they fear unsafe dominance. And that's where most men fail. They confuse control with aggression. They think taking charge means taking over. But what women actually crave is a man who knows how to lead with strength and still create safety. That's the secret to the power surrender position. The one that lets her release all control, not because she has to, but because she wants to. This position is all about framing, not just physical, but energetic. It can be from behind, with her body folded gently under yours, or her wrists lightly held, her breath sinking with yours. It's not about overpowering, it's about protecting. It's not about domination, it's about emotional container. When done right, this position allows her to surrender fully. And surrender in this sense is not weakness, it's freedom. Neuroscience backs this up. When a woman feels held physically and emotionally, her parasympathetic nervous system activates. That's the part of the brain responsible for relaxation, trust, and openness. In other words, true arousal. True pleasure, true intimacy. She's not tensing, she's not watching the clock, she's not wondering how she looks, she's fully in it because she feels protected in the presence of your power. But this only happens when that power is intentional and focused. Your grip isn't about control, it's about containment. Your tone isn't about authority, it's about assurance. She craves a space where she doesn't have to lead, doesn't have to think, doesn't have to guard. And when you give her that space, you unlock a version of her most men will never experience. This is where masculinity and emotional intelligence meet. This is where she feels the most feminine, because your strength gives her permission to let go. Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, sexually. Don't mistake this for aggression. This is devotion. The kind of strength that makes her feel safe in your arms, even while her body is in complete surrender. The man who can hold this polarity, strong yet safe, dominant yet gentle, is the man who leaves her breathless, not from performance, but from presence. If most men knew how much power lived just a few inches deeper, not physically, but emotionally, they'd stop chasing performance and start mastering connection. The arching bridge position isn't about visual appeal. It's about internal impact. Because this angle taps into places most men never reach. Not because they can't, but because they rush. But the moment you slow down, position her hips upward, elevate her pelvis, and let her body form that gentle curve, something incredible happens. This position, where her lower back is slightly arched and her hips are lifted, does more than change physical angles. It transforms the entire energetic flow. You gain access to a more sensitive part of the vaginal canal, especially the anterior wall, which connects neurologically with the vaginal fornix nerves, linked to deep emotional and even spiritual responses. This isn't just mechanics, it's mind-body stimulation. Her body feels met, not just entered. Her inner core, the space that rarely gets awakened, begins to light up. But it's not just about the angle. It's about the tempo, the emotional presence, the calm, confident control. Because when you take your time in this position, when you lock into her eyes, breathe with her, move in sync with her arch, she doesn't just feel you, she opens to you fully. Not out of duty, but out of raw desire. This position requires focus. Your hips, your hands, your breathing, it all has to slow down. You're not going fast. You're going deep emotionally and physically. And when you give her that kind of intensity, her nervous system reacts. Her mind slows. Her heart beats louder. Her emotions rise. And suddenly, she's not just participating, she's melting into you, with you. Few men ever access this layer of connection because they're too focused on friction. But the ones who do, they create experiences that stay in her body long after the moment is over. Not because of what they did, but because of what they unlocked. The final position isn't flashy. It won't appear in most adult films or viral conversations. But for many women, it's the most emotionally satisfying position of all, the side lock. Two bodies curled together, legs intertwined. One arm under her neck, one arm around her waist. Nothing is rushed. Everything is intentional. It's quiet. It's close. And it's safe. That's what makes it unforgettable. This position removes pressure from both of you. There's no pushing, no holding up weight, no chasing climax. It's simply about being in the experience together. From a psychological standpoint, this position increases oxytocin levels in both partners, the hormone responsible for bonding, emotional closeness, and trust. That's why this position isn't about how